Jordan, what do you think? I kind of stepped in right as you were kind of finishing up your point. I didn't hear all of it, other than you don't want to put this on Kyle, and I get it. I mean, Kyle's a terrific coach. I mean, I don't think anybody's saying that. At least I'm not saying that I take fault with him in any real way as a coach. I know there's a lot of people who are going to extremes, but that's what Twitter and social media is for. But where do you see this team? I'll tell you the other thing that I thought was a little discouraging is I didn't think that Jimmy played well in this game. As far as I was there watching all the deep passes, I thought Trey's deep passes that we saw last week were closer to being, good passes than Garoppolo made a lot of terrible passes down the field, and he just didn't seem like he was in a lockstep with any of his receivers. He made enough plays to win today, but man, if you watched it from where I was sitting, it just seemed like he just threw a lot of balls that were off target, or at least if Trey had thrown the same ball, we would have said it was off target. Where do you think the Niners go from here?
Honestly, my outlook on the season didn't really change all that much. I thought they were a double-digit win team that would have a chance at, once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen, as we saw last year. And I think the same ceiling is still there. I never thought that the quarterback play would be the, primary driver behind their success when Trey was the quarterback. I don't think it will be when Jimmy is. I think the defense is still going to be what determines the success of this team. And, if you lump in special teams, yeah, they gave up a touchdown, but the defense, if you isolate that, they shut out that Seahawks offense, which again, it's not a world-beating offense, but that defense is championship caliber. And I think that if you were able to get a consistent running game going, you're able to sustain drives the way they were today. They had 5 different drives that were at least 7 plays today. They had 25 first downs. They controlled the clock. They were very balanced. They had 189 yards on the ground, 184 through the air. You're not going to play the Seahawks every week, and I'm aware of that. But if you're able to just get some kind of consistency on offense, this defense is good enough to keep them in games, even when you start playing the Chiefs and the Chargers and the Rams and these tough games on the schedule. So I still think they can be I had them at 11-6 before the season. I think they can still get there. And, when they were 3-5 last year, nobody thought they'd make the playoffs, let alone be a few plays away from being in the Super Bowl last season. I was extremely encouraged with what I saw on the defensive side of the ball. I thought Javon Kinlaw made a couple really nice plays early on. I think Drake Jackson has made a monumental leap just from what I saw at the start of training camp to now at week 2 of the regular season. He had a really nice pressure where I think Bosa ended up getting credited for the sack, but Drake Jackson's pressure was really what drove Geno Smith off his spot in the pocket. So
did he not get a half sack on that?
I didn't see officially yet. I know a lot of times. I know that there's been a couple times where Ebukam's done the same thing and they gave the full sack to Bosa. So I haven't seen it yet. I don't know how those statisticians get to that, but I didn't come away from this feeling, but the biggest thing was that I felt deflated for Trey Lance, the individual. I think it's heartbreaking that he's having to deal with so much adversity early on in his career. And I think the long-term outlook is really what stings, because just like Larry mentioned, you lose that year of development. And that's now 2 years where you haven't really gotten that, in season, while the bullets are flying experience. You can take all the practice reps you want, but it's never going to equate the same way. But in the present, for just the 2022 season for the 49ers, I don't think much has changed personally, because I think that you were going to get a lot of the same speed bumps with Trey Lance that you're probably going to get with Jimmy Garoppolo. And it's really just going to come down to what the defense is able to do. And if they play the way they played today, I don't see why they can't win 11 games and win a game in the playoffs, which it's not the Super Bowl, but to me, I still think you'd have to come away feeling pretty good about a season like that. So maybe that's just my own, perspective of things, but I didn't really come away feeling like this was going to be a lost year, that everything, the next 15 games won't matter. Like, I still think they're very much in play. And for what it's worth, they're in first place in the NFC West right now. So, I think there's a lot to be excited about going forward.